Hi everyone. Today's lesson is for Thursday, April 30th, and it is this one, telling time, 5-minute intervals. So at this point in the week, you have learned to tell time to the whole hour, to the half hour, and to the quarter hour. And to do all of those things, you also had to learn how to use the minute hand, counting by fives. So today's lesson should be fairly easy for you. A couple things I want you to remember. There are 2 hands on the clock, and I'm not sure I mentioned it before, but this kind of clock is called an analog clock, okay? It has the numbers and you have to read the time. The digital clock is the one you're used to seeing on your phones and on our smartboard in the classroom. It just tells you the time and you don't even have to think about it. So this is called an analog clock. It has 2 hands, just as a review. The long hand is the minute hand. The short hand is the hour hand. Do you remember which hand we read first? I hope you said the short hand. So when you're looking at the clock, the first thing you want to do is look at the shorthand to tell us the hour of the day. So this one is pointed to 1. It's directly in the middle, so it's 1 something. Now as we look at the minute hand, that's the second hand we're going to read, we notice that it's pointed at the 12, and we know if it's pointed at the 12, it would be o'clock, so 1 o'clock. If we move this, let's go ahead and move it this, well, that didn't work the way I wanted to. If we move it this way, okay, we read the small hand first. It's between the 1 and the 2. And you've learned from earlier in the week that it can't be 2 anything unless this hand is directly in the middle, okay? Even if it's touching the top of that 2, it still isn't 2 o'clock. Anything between here and here is going to still be 1 o'clock. So if we put our clock here, it is 1, so it's between the 1 and 2, but it hasn't reached the middle of the 2 yet, so it's 1. And then we're going to go ahead and count by fives using the minute hand. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 1:30. Yesterday we talked about telling time to the quarter hours, so we had something like this. We're going to look at the hour hand again. It's between the 1 and the 2, so it has to be on the 2. Or I'm sorry, it has to be 1 o'clock. So it's between 1 and 2. It can't be 2 unless it's absolutely in the middle of the 2. And it isn't. It's between 1 and 2, so it's still 1. And then we're going to use the minute hand and count by fives. 5, 10, 15. So this time is 1:15. Now, some of you are getting the hands confused, and that's really normal. When we first start learning to tell time, that's really normal for people to do. So don't get disappointed or discouraged. Just keep working at it, and I'm sure your parents are doing a great job helping you. And then we also talked about quarter hours being like this, and my hands are loose, so it really won't stay. So I'm going to have to hold it and tighten that up for next time. Notice what's happening here. We always read the small hand or the hour hand first. It's touching the 2, the top of the 2. Does that mean it's 2? No, it can't be 2 unless this hand is directly in the middle. So it's still 1 something. When we go to read the minute hand, we don't say 1, 9, right? The only hand that reads the numbers is the small hand to tell the hour. So the minute hand is on the 9. Let's count by fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. The time is 1:45. Okay, so today you're going to tell time to the nearest 5 minutes. So we could start at 2 o'clock, and what if I just wanted to move it 5 minutes? Remember, each number, when you're using the minute hand, each number you go to, you count by fives. Okay, that's really important to remember. So this is going to be 2, because we read the hour hand first. 2, and then let's count by fives. 5. Now we don't say 2, 5. We're going to say that it's 2:05. So you would write it like this. Remember, the hour goes first, and then that colon, which is the 2 dots, and then the minute. So this is what it would look like. 2, we need 2 numbers in the minute. So since it's 5 after 2, we say 2:05, and that's how we would write it. Now, what if I just moved it like this? Now the hour hand is kind of hiding, so you have to look and see. That would be 2:10, and this would be 2:15. Notice how I'm just counting by 5s. So 5, 10, 15, 2:20, 2:25, 2:30, 2:35, 2:40, 2:45, 2:50, 2:55. Now we don't say 2:60. Now we're at the next hour, so it'd be 3 o'clock. So when you're counting by 5s, you use the minute hand only. We don't ever count by 5s using the hour hand. The hour hand is going to be the hand that's the most important. You always say it first, and you say it based on the number you see on the clock. The minute hand, the longer hand, is the one you count by 5s with. So what if I gave you this time? See, if we were in school, you would all have this clock, and I would be asking you to set your clock to this time, and you would be doing it. But since you don't have one, we're going to do the best we can. If you've been out to the dollar store and found one, that's great. If you haven't been out, don't worry. I'm sure there are plenty of things online you can use. So I want you to take a look at this. What hand do we read first? The small hand. It is between 6 and 7. It's not touching the 6 and it's not touching the 7, but it's between these two. So the time would be 6. That's right. It can't be 7 anything until this hour hand is directly in the middle. Okay? Now, the minute hand, we're going to start up here. It's on the 4, so we're going to count by 5s. Don't start with 5 here. Start with the 5 at the 1. 5, 10, 15, 20. So the time is 6:20. Let's try another one. Oh, I'm going to try a hard one because this always confuses people. Most people will look at this and go, oh, it's 9. Well, guess what? It's not 9. Do you remember the rule? Look for the hour hand. It cannot be 9 until that hour hand is exactly in the middle. And it's not in the middle. It's touching the bottom. So if it's between here and here, it's still 8 o'clock. Okay? And then we counted by 5. So, and this confuses everybody. So if you're looking at this going, I'm not sure I understand it, it's okay. You will figure it out. Now we're going to count so we know it's 8. We're going to count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. The time is 8:55. And the reason that is so close to the middle of the 9 is because it's only 5 minutes away from 9. So if we move it 5 minutes, it would be 9 o'clock. Okay, so that's basically today's lesson. You are going to go ahead and try this page today. If you have questions, please have your parents send me a remind, and we can meet up on Zoom and talk about those. Otherwise, good luck, have fun, see if you can practice some with your parents. And for those of you who have a school iPad, if you go to your 2nd grade math app, that Splash Math, there is telling time on that. So there's a little bit more practice you can do with that. Okay, I miss you guys. Work hard, and I'll see you later. Bye.